Councilman Wachs, what is your reaction to the
I think it's a rehash of all of the myths that they conjured up in the original Kerner Report. That thing was a disaster for America. I think people who never thought about race relations in parts of the country where there aren't many white people, there aren't many black people, got exacerbated by that original Kerner Report, and I think they're just trying to stir up some additional trouble.
Well, I haven't read it completely, but I did see in one of our local newspapers that the comment was that things have not improved. I think that in many areas that's true. I think in many other areas that is not true. I think in terms of the overall reaction or the overall relationship between the peoples of our community, I think that has considerably deteriorated since the Kerner Report.
I don't think it's any question. After 6 years in public service, there's no question in my mind that we have not solved the problems of our urban areas. We are polluting our cities. We are making them more congested. We have given in to the automobile. We have not yet found the solutions to our problems.
I think John Lindsay didn't surprise us at all. Every cab driver in New York will tell you he ruined that city. He's as phony as a $3 bill. That was a beautiful city in New York to go visit prior to John Lindsay becoming mayor. He's a classic example of a man who's elected by less than half the people trying to lead a city, and he's totally incapable of cleaning up his own city. And we don't appreciate him coming in here into Los Angeles and telling lies about this city.
Report is to point these out and to not put them under the rug, to point out that they do exist and that there is an urgency. In Los Angeles, we have the tremendous need, for example, for some form of rapid transit, some additional mode of transportation other than just a total dependency on the automobile, not only for environmental purposes, but for mobility purposes in minority communities that now don't have adequate means of transportation. There is a great need for this, a need to solve some of the housing problems. And again, that's a citywide problem, the various aspects of it. In some cases, it's low-cost housing. In other cases, it's just overcrowding. The whole area of city financing, which is a very critical situation as industries go from a city and leave the most costly services to be provided, but with no tax base in order to finance them. And a commission report which points these out and says there's an urgency and brings it to the public attention does a service by giving an impetus to some solutions.
Councilman Mills, what is your reaction to the Commission report this morning regarding... Councilman Braude, what is your reaction to the Commission report this morning that life in the big cities has deteriorated?
We have to really reform the entire tax system and the entire system of planning our cities so that they are not polluted and that the environment is destroyed. I feel very strongly about these matters.
Councilman Snyder, what is your reaction to the report that was issued by Senator Fred Harris this morning?
Well, of course, the only thing that I've been able to read is the newspaper accounts, which painted with a very broad brush, and apparently the report does the same thing. The specific area in which I think I would have some real difference with the report is the allegation that the relationship between the police and the Mexican-American community has deteriorated as far as the Los Angeles Police Department goes. Actually, I think that in the last 5 to 6 years, that you've seen a very real improvement between the Los Angeles Police Department and the Mexican-American community. And I think that this is attributable to the basic CAR plan, to a new campaign in the last few years of hiring Mexican-American police officers and seeing to it that they are involved in their own community, which has brought the people of that community a lot closer. A few years ago, we had the problem of militant groups following policemen around to see that they didn't beat up people in the barrio, and some very heavy criticism of the police department almost door to door. These days, it's not the same.
Councilman Edelman, what is your reaction to the commission report by Senator Harris that life in the big cities have deteriorated since 1968 when the Kerner Report was issued?
Well, I'm not surprised. I'm somewhat disturbed by the implications of the report, especially about our police department and about the conditions in the south central Los Angeles area, and I think they bear looking into. I think the city owes a responsibility to see what those...
There are, and we cannot deny, there are urban problems of a great magnitude, not only in this area but throughout the nation, which must be solved. I think that the benefit of a commission
70s report? Well, I think it's typically what you'd expect from the authors. This is a National Urban Coalition. John Gardner even pulled out of it. It's the old Kerner Commission gang who try to stir up divisiveness in the country by pitting white against black. Instead of talking about solutions, they talk about problems. We have two presidential hopefuls here. Senator Harris declared today, I understand. I'd say he's getting off to a real bad start to be elected president to take on the city of Los Angeles the way that he did. He obviously has been in Washington so long, he can't that report we heard about. We tried to run it down. We don't know who issued what ticket to whom, because on the freeway system here, no one can tell, where someone might have, and they didn't offer this in their information. So I think they're grasping at that sort of thing. For a man who wants to be the President of the United States, or two men who want to be the President of the United States, to take those, that little paucity of data there and try to blow it into a condemnation of this city shows that both of them are absolutely unqualified to hold their present offices, let alone be President of the United States.
Do you feel there's anything implicit in Al Nelder's resignation in San Francisco?
No, I think any chief of police, particularly one who's had his men killed right in his own stations and doesn't get all the support he needs to do a job, feels like Al Nelder must have felt when he retired. But I'll tell you one thing, I'm not going to retire from this job. We got a lot of battles to win around here yet, and I intend to be around here many years.
How about the details?
I don't think there's any question about it. Things aren't as good as they should be. We haven't caught up educationally. These children in the minority school districts are still getting out at below 20th percentile on reading and arithmetic. That has to be corrected. Crime is still higher than we would like to have it. But this very meeting I'm going into now, Southwest Boosters, where businessmen in our Southwest Division are working in the basic radio car plan, providing athletic activities for the children, the 77th Street Dames activity, and helping bring peace to that community. I think all of these things didn't exist then. And of course, that committee wasn't interested in finding out the truth. They wanted to confirm their own hypotheses.
The report seems to indicate that Los Angeles police either react or overreact more than other people.